Into the realm of the PL-89, into the realm of the higher time, into the realm of the Messiah time. It is simple to sing the tune. Match the sun up with the moon. With the sun and before the moon, as per Psalm 72. The two calendars are one. Match the moon up with the sun. Yaakov and Esau, chicken and Toho, and with that our work it is done. Work it is done. Work it is done. This is the PL-89 Gematriatic Quantum Thought Calendar for Friday, February 20th, 2026, and it is Yom Shishi, 6th day of the week, the 3rd day of Adar. And according to the book of Ezra, on the 3rd of Adar is when they finish building the temple. At least some part of it. Maybe the whole thing, maybe... Let's pull up the verse here. The 3rd day of Adar, temple, Ezra. Let's see here. The temple was completed on the 3rd day of the month of Adar, in the 6th year of the reign of King Darius. So Zechariah got his vision in the 2nd year, like 4 years before that, I guess. I'm guessing it's the same Darius. Okay, that's Ezra 6, verses 15 and 16. The temple was completed on the 3rd day of the month of Adar, in the 6th year of the reign of King Darius. Then the people of Israel, the priests, the Levites, and the rest of the exiles celebrated the dedication of the house of God with joy. And that's today. Today is the 3rd day of Adar. And it's a special day in this work, this calendar work. It's a very joyous time in general because we entered the month of Adar, and Adar is Mishenichnas Adar Marbim B'Simcha. When we enter Adar, we increase in joy. And for this particular work, in 2018, which is on this day, it was February 18th in 2018, was the 3rd day of Adar. And it seems to be close to this year, where February 20th, so it's kind of has the quality of of what I call a spring year. A spring year is the year before leap year, although I don't think next year will be a leap year, but it's something good to look into. It was February 18th, 2018, and I started the work of my counting work of the 11th of Nisan meditations. It was a cyclical... My work is very cyclical. It has to do with counting and meditating on that count. Counting something over and over again, but progressively demonstrating something through that count. I was doing different kinds of what I call base 11 or base 12 counting that was themed by the different things in the Bible that are 11 or 12. Like, for example, there were 12 princes, 12 leaders of the tribes. So I had this meditation where I would, in Parshas Naso, in the book of Numbers, it lists all of the princes or the leaders of the tribes and all of the the offerings that they gave, and each day, and it was 12 different offerings. They're all the same actually, but it repeats it. It says it over 12 times, one for each tribe. So what I did was I call it base 12. It may not be base 12, but or you might want to call it cycle 12. It's a cycle of 12. And then when you get to 13 is 1, 14 is 2, 15 is 3, like that. I mean, I call it base 12. It's probably not the real base 12 in mathematics, but it's you might want to call it cycle 12. It's a cycle of 12 original numbers, and every number after that is just another either 1 or 2. So anyway, I did that with the 12 princes. I did that with the 11 spices, 11 elements of the incense mixture. 11 spices, and and I counted 11 days, and then 12 was 1, 13 was 2, 14 was 3. So you have like 2 cycles per month, 2.5 or 2 3/4 of cycle per month, and then you get to know the days by their names. Like for example, the first day of the month is Nachshon ben Aminadab, so that's 1, and then Netanel ben Suar, then Eliyav ben Chelon, and then Elisham ben Amihud. Let's see, Shlomo ben Tzvi Shaddai. I really was meditating on it a lot, so I got to learn them real deep. I would count each day and know each day by the leader. And so, where was I going with this? Okay, yeah, so that was a certain kind of meditation where I was doing that. I was counting the tribes of each day. That was in 2018. My point is that project started on this very day we are on today, the 3rd of Adar. And back then in 2018, it was February 18th. It was the 3rd of Adar. I am 99% certain. Right, but if you want to check, you can go 11th of Nisan. Write it out all in English. 11th, E-L-E, like all words. 11th of Nisan, Josh Leon. And then go to the very first video, and then you'll see there, the first one. It was February 18th. It was a Sunday. I was in Starbucks. I was sitting on a table, and I was facing east. East? No. I was facing north. I was on a table facing north, and it came to me the idea to do this meditation. Anyway, the point is that was 3rd of Adar. So on the lunar calendar, the 3rd of Adar is always going to be in box with the number 40 on it. Okay, 40, and that's a lunar calendar. But now, how about the solar calendar? The solar calendar says February 20th. It's always going to be the box with the number 10 on it, right? Yeah, sure. So 40 and 10 is 50. So 50 is the number for today. 50. If something tells me that I didn't compute that, or did I? See, what I do is I have this daily, it's like a system of itemized lines for work units. And they're broken down. They used to be broken down to 20 parts per day, but now they're 24 parts per day. So they roughly correspond to the 24 hours a day, except sleep is necessary. So there's going to be about 5 hours that have to be kind of absorbed by the other ones, but I'm seeing now that I didn't actually write it in, because if I did write it in, I would know what the substitution number is. How does that work? The process is that if you remember the song I was singing, the 2 calendars are one, match the moon up with the sun, or the first one was, it is simple to sing the tune, match the sun up with the moon. And that's exactly what I'm doing here, is that the solar number that I received today, because it's based on this calendar, is 10. So that's February 20th is going to be number 10. Why the numbers are here, that's for a different video, but suffice it to say that any 20th day is going to be 10 of this dispensation. So now, the lunar day is 40, because any third day of any month in this dispensation is going to be 40. You add them together. So you do, since the sun is dominant now, even though it's winter, but it has to do with the nations. The nations have more power now, and I can just say that the Super Bowl happens in the winter. That's more of a nations thing. Used to be just the opposite, actually. 10 plus 40 is 50, of course. Who would think otherwise? So the answer is that what you need to do is add them together. You get 50. And now that you have 50, that's your PL-89 number. Right? Now that you have a number of 50, what do you do with 50? What you do is, this is what we call the infinite substitution process or synthesis, is where it's not really infinite, but it gets to a place where it will hit a loop, and you can call that the infinite. But when you take the number 50 and you write it as 50, then there's another way that you can express that number. You can express it in letters. You can express it by saying F-I-F-T-Y, right? Isn't that nifty? It's 50. So now what do you do? Now that it's a word, you put that in a calculator and you turn that into a number, and it's a different number than 50. It's going to be, because you, based on the English standard, English ordinal gematria cipher, where A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, D is 4, E is 5, like that until Z, until 26, because there's 26 letters. So now each letter is a numerical value. So every word is really now a number. So you take 50 and you put it in the calculator. What do you get? 66. Great. I got 66. What do I do with that? Do the same thing. Let's write that out. 66. Then I get 149. Then I write this. There's different ways to write in English 149. You could write 149, like O-N-E, and then 49, or you can write 149, or you could write 149. So for this, you can do. I think you can do any way you want, as long as you keep consistent. But what I chose to do for this is write, if it's a hundreds and tens and ones are all different, I write 149. I don't write 149, and I also don't write and. I just write the word 100, or two words, 100, and then 49. So then let's see what happens there. One. Key is you got to keep it consistent every time. That 100, 49. What are you going to get? I'll tell you. 234. Right? So now that 204, see, I think you get the idea by now. I won't belabor this because I think you get what's going on. Now, I've been doing this for a while, and I've seen that if you keep doing this process, word into a number, word, number, word, eventually it will hit a point that I call the event horizon. Like, for example, I did this, you do it, you run it, all of its runs, all of its iterations, until it hits a point where it gets a number where after that number, maybe about 3 tries, what I've seen, about 3 different runs, it's going to come back to that one that it was 2 runs ago or 3 runs ago. So, for example, I ran the number 74 to its infinity loop, as it's called. So I did 74. It's a number 74. Then I wrote it out. 7 S-E-V-E-N case. Then I get 170. Then 208. Then back. Okay, you write it out. Finally, maybe after 10, 15 tries, maybe 20. I forgot now. You're going to come to 240. The number 240. So then, if you do 240, it's going to come back to itself, which is very interesting because, you know what? I can do this right here, and I might as well, in case you're a math nerd and you wanted to see, like me, I guess. Let's see here. Let's. It comes to 240. 200. 240. I remember that was. Then you get the result is 216. So then 240 equals 216. So 216. What do you know? You get 228. 228. Now you get 288. EIGH. And now you get 255. 55. And 255 equals 240. That's what it was. So 240 is the infinite feedback loop. So about 240, and it goes through, let's say, what was that, 4 or 5 iterations, and that takes you back to 240 again. That's one of those loop numbers. So I guess, if I would have started out at 240, then I would have only had 5 ones to go, and I wouldn't have had to go that far. So this leads me to some experimental understanding of there are certain numbers that are loop numbers. I guess, which means that you'll hit that loop very soon. You'll hit that circle very soon. But there are some numbers that you can go for 10, 15, 20 tries, and it's just turning to a word to a number, to a word to a number, to a word to a number. And it would be interesting to really analyze and see the kinds of numbers that are loop numbers and how those loop numbers can affect a data processing methodology. Because let's think about it. If every word can be a number, that means that a whole page of text can really be just a whole page of numbers, right? So like, let's just say in this page of words, which you'd be familiar with on a word level, but if you understood it in terms of patterns, you could see what kinds of words might, like, numerically take you in circles, so to speak. I don't know if I'm getting this across. It's just an idea that I'm thinking of, and it would take a tremendous amount of work to actually see this through. But it's an idea that, like, some numbers go way long, and they only repeat after, like I said, many, many iterations. But in the case of 240, it reaches 240 very soon after this process is started. So it's something to think about. But today's number, of course, is 50. And I didn't do the whole run through it, but it was 50, then 50 becomes 66, and 66 becomes... So I didn't run that through, but really, I don't want you to leave off with 240. I want you to, basically know that today is 50, as per the what's it called? The PL-89 Gematria Quantum Calendar. Thank you for listening if you've made it this far. Have a nice Shabbat.